Okay, well, we're in.
Yeah. I thought I was scrolling all the way down, but I hadn't gotten far enough down. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Whew. So I wonder if we're going to have people joining us.
Well, what I didn't realize until this morning is that there are also legislators doing their thing. So
yeah, right. Wow, Laura Montoya is fabulous.
She is.
Yep, and that was really good advice. So if we get people, I'm not using transportation as an example again.
Yeah,
good to know.
That's a good point, because it is a loss leader, but it's also always going to be a public benefit. So
yeah. So we should figure out how to take that battle on and make it profitable.
Well, what we can do is include, if we're going to focus on rural communities and food system, what we can talk about is the challenge of the success that small operations have had with doing that food to table or food to building that collection of restaurants, and also trying to get public schools into the process, in contrast to what it takes to, but how to scale that up so that we can keep more of that produce in the state instead of having to ship out and then ship in from other places, from California, when we could be eating lettuce from here. If we had a different kind of production system. That's just one idea that came to mind after she said that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. And a prime example of that would be cold storage in local communities.
Yep. Or at least regional. Probably more cost effective to do it regionally, but still to have something so that there wouldn't be that need to ship away.
Right. Okay.
It'll take out some of the middlemen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think her question about collateral is interesting. About I think
we should.
He's right. That's where some of the legislators are saying that they don't like the idea of the state's good faith and credit, but yet they're also they do that with the bonding process in the state. So, there still will be collateral requirements from the borrower, but they're looking for collateral for the bank. But the bank is going to make money. So I think that one is a bit bogus. And her point about what she said about the small banks, that's just to keep her message going about how the public bank is actually going to help keep them going, and instead of having them fold and cave into fintech and regional mergers. I mean, that's the simplistic answer, but it's not the only answer.
Yeah. Yes.
I saw when I was scrolling down, I think there were at least two other, Paul Stokes and somebody else didn't have anybody in theirs either.
Okay.
So, and I have an idea that I haven't checked email, but I know Melissa couldn't get in.
Right.
Clifton obviously made it work.
Yeah.
I think they need to do some more, what do they need? If they're going to change the software, they need to give one message with the full set of information about how this was going to work today. It would have been a smoother start. And I still haven't figured out what I did differently yesterday that I did today, because I thought I was using the same link. So.
Right.
Did you figure out you obviously figured out what happened with not being able to get in? No?
No, I tried, I went to a link and I put it in, and then all of a sudden I was there. And then it was a question of, okay, how do I navigate events? Which frankly, I should have explored through Zoom a little bit more, because I didn't explore it at all. I figured I'd use Zoom all the time, and so events, I should be able to do this, but clearly events is a different kind of animal.
But they have more features in it, and it's set up a bit differently. So that's what I meant by it needed some extra information out for us.
And at one time I could see the chat box, but I could not scroll through the chat box. Another time I could see the gallery and I could not, but it was just,
that happened to me with the gallery, and the chat seemed to be frozen. And then all of a sudden, when I tapped it about 5 minutes later, then I could see a couple more messages. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. It is kind of weird.
Well, I'm game for keeping this open and
Fine.
see if anybody drops in.
Yep.
This didn't have as many things going on at the same time last year.
I don't really remember it last year.
It's fuzzy, but I don't. The legislators were before and after, but not during.
Yeah. Okay.
There was, I took the names of everybody who was in the group, and I was going to do a lookup on who is Aline Gush.
Yeah, and I have a note saying, is she in our database? And if so, or if not.
And I think there was a Jenny Luck also.
Yes, or Lusk. I'm not sure which.
Or Lusk. It is Lusk.
Yeah. So what I was going to do actually is see if we have email addresses for them, and if we do, then I think I would just send them an email saying thank you for attending, and please let me know if your questions. Yeah. Go ahead. I was just going to say I had a cute conversation with Donna today. Apparently she's had one with you also, in that she wants to go out and play, and I'm going, not this week, dear. I can't play this week.
Yeah. She seemed to be a bit frustrated. I had checked in with her when she got back, and I never did get a response. And I thought, well, she's just got lots going on. And then all of a sudden I got this stream of text messages yesterday, basically, can you go play? And I was like, no.
Sorry. talk to you at the end of February, you know. Don't be mad. It's not personal.
Yeah, it's not personal, but
Yeah.
I think we are slated to be, is it next Thursday that we should be gathering for a lunch bunch?
Yes, it's lunch bunch. It's a cello grill. And I won't be there if we get RSVPs for a Zoom. That's one of the two community conversation Zooms. So if we have people who choose that, then I won't be there.
Okay. My apologies to you and Melissa. I looked at your notes after your planning session, but I obviously didn't look at the last line. I saw what you had scheduled for that you'd already referred to in the conversations. And I totally missed that last line about the open conversations, and then stumbled on that in Newsy News. But I went back and I had it printed out right here, and I went, how did I miss that? And I said to myself, well, dummy, you didn't read the last line.
You know, we have to cut ourselves some slack this time. You know? We do. We just do. Yeah. Just so that you know, David's vital signs are beginning to fluctuate. So I may need to vanish at the end of the week for a little bit, but I just don't know. Just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they are continuing to drop.
Well, no, actually, it's interesting. His blood, his heart rate has increased way above
I said that last night. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so that sets off triggers on other things. And so it becomes a cascade. So, yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Just whatever you need to do, Sarah, that's the priority. You know that. I
do know that. I do know that. But also, this is also sanity for me. It just is. You know, it's, yeah, it's really sanity.
You know, it's 10:17. What was this? This was to go to 10:25.
Right.
I can't imagine that anybody's going to come in now.
Probably not. Although I notice that people do pop-ins.
Yeah. I'm okay with staying on just to be here and be present, if you're okay with that.
I'm fine with it, frankly.
I could tell Elaine was really frustrated in the message she sent this morning, but there was no way I had time with the issues we were having to help her out. And I'd already sent 2 rounds of links to her over the last 3 or 4 days. So I
don't
know why I wasn't able to get in.
I had no advice for her. She does have technical challenges, and so she sent an email simply saying, I can't get into whatever updating on the Google spreadsheet. And I ended up just texting her and saying, just send me your information. I'll put it in for you. So
yeah, she did that all the time with Jennifer. She
right.
She never entered anything.
No. So
and I think my hunch is, and I asked her about this the second time, there was a redirect with the registration link on. It wasn't there when I registered initially, but later there was a redirect with a different email address that the link in the blue review took you to. And I said to her the second time, I said, you can't just tap on that. You need to copy and put it in your browser or just write it in. And I'm not sure she did either one, because there was no, the way that it was, they could have done that, but whoever was programming it didn't do it. So you had to actually copy and paste or rewrite it. And my hunch is that that's what the issue was, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Did you hear a little bit of Gabe talking earlier?
I did.
He sounds impressive, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. I'm thrilled with him as a choice.
Ditto.
Yep.
From what I'm reading this morning in both the New Mexican and in the Journal, I'm concerned that there's going to be a fracas over the Senate redistricting map.
Yeah, redistricting committee. Wow. Or
So we didn't need that in the middle of everything else going on. They should have been working that better, in my opinion, in the special session. And instead they went behind closed doors and
we're all screaming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, are you hearing anything from anybody about possible challengers to Michelle for governor in the Democratic Party? I know the Republicans have about 4 candidates now, but
No.
There are some people saying that they think she's losing ground, and I'm, God forbid that we end up with some kind of fracas in the party here. But I don't know.
I think it'll become clear after this session. If she gets her way, if the party and she work well together.
Yeah.
But, if not, yeah, it's like.
But there's some of that has got to be about how are they going to work together, like on the budget, the appropriations, how are they going to work out their differences so that they don't end up going into battle like they did over
over who gets to spend money.
Yeah, who's going to spend money.
And then there's the whole hydrogen thing. I'm really worried about that.
I think there was some vulnerability there related to handling the virus, although there were a whole lot more people, I think, supportive of what she's done rather than not. But those who aren't supportive they've been vocal, but I'm not sure that there's a majority of them. But this I'm with you. This hydrogen thing, I think, could blow up.
Yeah. There, the article about Intel paying
Yes.
I think that's really wonderful. And the way they describe the fact, how they use the water, what they need it for. They didn't talk about their process for purification, but apparently they can use the water twice before it gets discharged as.
Right. That's what I was reading into it.
Yeah. And I'd like to know that, because that if that is real, I think I'm very much in support of that. And can't Facebook do that?
Yeah, exactly. Can't they do that with all of that cooling
Right.
water that they're using? Plus, even when we're talking about the hydrogen, and they're talking about, well, water like, the same as fracking. Well, what else could that water be used for? It's not like it's fracking, so, it's that residue. It's not good for anything else. Well, yeah, it could be if we were looking at how to adapt into other uses. So to me, that's coming from fossil fuels, and they're using it to, it's like they're running this tunnel of possibilities instead of, no, there are other possibilities here. This is, let's broaden the perspective on this and ask what else can it be used for.
And what technologies would be available to clean it up?
Yes.
There's got to be research into that. Or why isn't there research into that? I mean, fracking industry, you want to keep going. Well, then you need to solve this problem. So you'd better be funding the research, because otherwise.
Well, the question is, if they're funding it, what are they doing? What are they doing with the research results? Because we know what the cigarette industry did with theirs. They buried it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, should we go back to the lobby? Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Sarah.
You are so welcome.
I think I may write, I don't know. I know Ivan from past work in the precinct. I may just send him 2 or 3 suggestions about, what we can do different.
Well, I think one of the ones is you can have a mandatory meeting for people who are going to present, so we know what we're doing.
Yep.
So
we're not coming in cold, because there wasn't enough.
Exactly right.
If we hadn't had the prior work with Zoom, I can't imagine what some of the people were doing with that. So,
right.
All right. Back to
the lobby.
here.